has popped. We're going to be jumping into the series between Tempo Storm and Method Orange up next, everybody. Stay tuned for this hot minute before this intro. And thank you very much. We just got a $50 donation from a dude named A. Thank you so much, A, for that 50 bones. I really do appreciate it. Wanting to stay anonymous, I respect that, dude. We'll be right back, guys. Respect the hot minute. It's Method Orange versus Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm running the Rogue Mage Druid composition versus Method Orange's WLS. Can Method Orange do it? They're on fire right now, man. They got the adrenaline pumping. They can do it, but can they do it against the RMD that is Tempo Storm? This is going to be so hard. Here we go.
Yep, full sap on Sea-Doo, opening pressure onto Snuts. How's he going to deal with it? Early Unbound Will into the Shadow Fury. Peekaboo doesn't care. He's going to trink it out, pop that Shadow Dance, but Snuts kites him on the Shadow Dance. He's avoiding quite a bit of damage. He gateways back on the reconnect. Snuts kiting very well early on here, but they're not really stopping the CC. Sea-Doo sitting through that clone. They really need to stop the reclone. I think Snuts shut it down there, but the Dark Regeneration was forced. So if they can survive this without linking, they are looking fairly well here. They survived the Shadow Dance. Starship caught into that Stormbolt, trying to build some pressure. He gets charged on his blink. Can Smexen reconnect? Starship forced Ironbark himself. Now that Ironbark is not going to be available for his partners for another minute. Snuts popping that Dark Soul, but he did get counterspelled by Jamili. Good shutdown. Cheap shot over onto Smexen. Starship pushing up for the clone. Doesn't manage to get it though. Snuts interrupts the clone. That's going to open up Smexen to try and stop some incoming sheeps onto Sea-Doo, and he really needs to do it. He interrupts the sheep. Frostjaw gets reflected. Good shutdown from Smexen. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. He's going to trick it out of that right away. Still holding onto the links for now. Full Stormbolt onto Starship is going to fade. He traded up that NS previous to it. Smexen going for that Blade Storm, trying to build some pressure. I'm curious how they're going to do with the next setup here. Shadow Dance available for Peekaboo. He's going to pop it right away. Cheap shot onto Smexen. Starship pushes forward. He's looking for a clone onto Smexen. Will he get it? He gets the clone. There's the deep onto Sea-Doo. Snuts in a lot of trouble. Sea-Doo with no trinket to get out of the sheep. Snuts completely alone. Rallying cry comes out. They break the sheep. He gets the link. Starship pushing in. Maybe overstaying his welcome. Smexen looking to finish him off. Colossus Smash comes up. Starship in full retreat. Smexen does not care. Leaping right after him, trying to finish him off, but not enough to take him down. Close call for Tempo Storm.
Oh my gosh, why are you alive, Starship? That was so crazy. There's a kidney shot out on the Snuts Horde. Taylor Swift without a trinket. He has one link available to him. He's just trying to heal him up through this Ascendance. It's going to fade, however. Jamili in their face with hypothermia up is going to catch the Ironbark from Starship. Smexen throwing the Stormbolt from downtown onto Starship. It's going to stun him up for now, but Jamili's taking a whole bunch of pressure and getting conchinked. Oh my gosh, so very low. He's on hypothermia. He's got to be careful. That was so scary. Now Peekaboo getting stunned up. Smexen connecting over onto him. It's going to force the Coco Shadows as well as the evasion. And Snuts and Smexen are saying, get the heck off my pillar or I will global you. Stormbolt once again over out onto Starship. Peekaboo trying to reconnect onto Snuts. This is the bomb. Can Snuts survive through it all? Death from above is going to land, but Sea-Doo's going to use that last link of his right before it lands, chunking him down. Now it's Sea-Doo in that full clone. How are you going to survive, Snuts? He's sprinting away. Can he do it? Mass Spell Effect is going to spell back to Jamili. Jamili's in a lot of trouble. There is the Shadow Fury onto him. Starship now in a fear. If Snuts can survive, they will take down Jamili. Jamili now forced the Ice Block, and Method Orange is playing to win here in game number 1.
Yeah, I like that. Snuts taking the opportunity to get a full fear. You notice they didn't have dots up. Starship shadow melding a Stormbolt, though, from Smexen. That's going to slow down a lot of pressure here for Method Orange. Snuts not really able to get anything done with the rest of that Dark Soul. Now getting that Soul Burn Haunt out, trying to build up some momentum for his team. This next push could be the game. Sea-Doo has his trinket. He's the only player with it for another 12 seconds. There's the cheap shot into Smexen. Starship follows up with the clone. Deep freeze over onto Sea-Doo. He follows up with the sheep. Snuts once again completely alone. How is he going to survive through this situation? He resummons his pet. He needs to interrupt this incoming polymorph. He gets the Shadow Fury. He stops the sheep. Master Reflect used as well. Stormbolt over on the Starship. Pressure on the Peekaboo. He's going to use that combat readiness. A bit of an overlap with the Ironbark. Now that Ironbark is not available for Jamili or Starship moving forward for the next minute if they can get any pressure with it. Smexen using that Blade Storm. He is focused onto Jamili. He knows that he's got no more blocks for at least another minute. Full blind though onto Sea-Doo. Is he going to sit through the blind? No, not going to play it greedy. Drinking out of that blind right away. Now caught into the deep freeze. Who's going to stop the sheep? Snut says, I got it. There's the Frostjaw. They're going to gate away from it. Line of deciding it. Smexen caught into the cheap shot. Method Orange repositioning defensively here, but they did burn through Sea-Doo's trinket. Now one more defensive cooldown down. They've got Dark Regeneration available. Peekaboo getting caught in a Shadow Fury. Smexen heroic leaps over to finish him off. Look at Shadows, doesn't matter. Smexen takes them out and takes game number 1.
What is this damage that Method Orange have found out of nowhere? Peekaboo actually was so convinced that they were going to land the kill in one of those setups, he trinketed a Shadow Fury to try to end it. And they couldn't end it. Snuts somehow stayed alive through it all. And now, without a trinket, he was vulnerable for that setup. Getting Shadow Fury, getting Heroic leaped on, and Smexen, with his big, strong Orc arms, is just going to knock him down. Method Orange taking game number 1 against Tempo Storm here of this best of 5 series on a Grand Arena, and that's gotta feel good.
I was gonna say before the game started. I won't say it. It's a commentator curse. I'm not saying it. I'll say it after the series.
Okay.
I'll try and remember what I wanted to say and say it after the series. So I'm not gonna say it now. I'm not gonna curse anyone.
Yeah, taking a quick look at that scoreboard because you guys are asking for it. There is some crazy damage. Look at Smexen and Snuts' damage. Now that being said, Smexen is just running around the map, non-freaking stop, just getting like interrupting everything, right? And he's still doing 4.4 million damage. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, we're going to be getting into the next games here very, very shortly. It's Tempo Storm versus Method Orange. Method Orange fighting their way through that lower bracket. Now up against Tempo Storm. We're going to be getting into game number 2, and I'm assuming we're going to see RMD again. I mean, theoretically, that was one of the biggest things that Method Orange was afraid of, was that RMD composition. And taking a win off of one of the best RMDs in North America has got to be feeling good. They got to be feeling the adrenaline right now, and they're going to use that to carry them on through this series. Can Tempo Storm pull it back and make the plays that they need to make, and then they're so well known for, to take down this WLS? Now, we don't see WLSs that often in these tournaments. I mean, they pop up every now and then, but not really this often, so maybe Tempo Storm might be a little bit out of practice against such a composition. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they played them in the past. But
I was going to say, if Method Orange wins this first game, they're winning the tournament. That's what I was going to say.
Wow. Wow, big words, big words. All right, guys, we're going to be jumping into the second game of the series, and it's going to be played out on Tolvaron Arena. Right, Tempo Storm versus Method Orange, game number 2, WLS versus RMD. So Tempo Storm actually opting to bring it to a much larger map. Do you think that's going to be a big advantage for him?
Maybe they're looking for some more swaps. They're not going to trade and Snuts down as hard. They can maybe catch Smexen out in the middle field or something.
Yeah.
Once he's used his trinket, maybe even swap to Sea-Doo. It seemed like they were kind of just tunneling on this pretty simple strategy of going after Snuts over and over and over, and Method Orange were really prepared for it. So Tempo Storm needs to find some surprise factor, and I think they can find it here on Tolvaron Arena.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've seen Smexen. He goes across that whole map, and he just kind of punishes those healers, but he's not going to be able to do it on a map like this, especially against a team like Tempo Storm. They find those opportunities, and they land that damage every single time. Sap goes out onto Snuts. Cheap shot over onto Smexen. Smexen is running that Orc, so it is going to be negated a little bit. Snuts still the main kill target as the full kidney shot lands. Deep Freeze. Polymorph is going to land over out onto Taylor Swift. This is Peekaboo's dance as well. He's going to gate away from him. Ice Nova's connecting as well as the Garrote Death from above. Snuts taking on an immense amount of pressure right now. As soon as that Garrote goes down, he's just going to get re-Garroted into a cheap shot. He's got to be careful. Unbound Will. Port comes out from Snuts, and he's going to pull back. There's the full blind onto Sea-Doo. He's going to trinket right out of it right away. He wants to line that up. Now he's actually getting cheap shotted on it into a clone. This is the bomb on Snuts. This is a scary moment. No trinket available for Sea-Doo. He's going to get the Spirit Link off, and Snuts is going to stabilize for now. And Smexen in the background is trying to get something done, trying to get some damage and pushing these guys away from his team's back line.
Huge Mortal Strike actually onto Jamili there from Smexen with that Recklessness. Starship forced to NS and Iron Bark him. Maybe they're going to switch some pressure onto Peekaboo. You can see Polymorphs defensively onto Smexen at the moment. They're trying to shut down Snuts here, but Snuts is actually patiently holding on to both Dark Souls. He still has both of them to use in a row. He might choose to actually pop one here. He's trying to get some dots out, build up some pressure. Cheap shot over on Asidu. They're making the swap. Here comes the surprise. Snuts says no. Triple Shadow Fury. Fear onto Jamili. He's going to shut down that swap almost completely, but Peekaboo pursues after him with the Shadow Dance. Sidu isolated in the center of the map. He needs someone by his side. Rallying Cry comes out. He's got Balls of Steel. He has to drop the link regardless, though. Here's the Dark Soul out from Snuts, and he's got not one Dark Soul, but two. If he chooses to use both of them in a row, there's no Iron Bark and no Barskin to deal with it. If he sees this opening, maybe they could get something done. Full Fear over onto Starship. Jamili is forced to block. Sidu survives the swap. Smexen remains with his trinket, but with no Rallying Cry, Sidu could be in a desperate situation here quick. Looks like they are going to keep going after Snuts, though. However, Snuts portaling back for now. Starship moving forward. I think that Tempo Storm are going to want to pull the trigger here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I mean, the clock is ticking. Jamili on hypothermia, though, has got to be careful. He's trying to get this polymorph. He's not going to be able to get it. He's going to get stopped on that Shadow Fury. He's getting solo, and down goes Jamili. A Tempo Storm losing game number 2 against Method Orange, and Method Orange has found their stride. Wow. What just happened? Let's take a quick look at that replay as Smexen just puts Jamili down. Holy crow. Holy crow indeed. That deserves some holy crows in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Whoo! I cannot believe it. I don't know if he was off hypothermia yet. It was just so much damage so
locked.
very fast.
I think he got locked. Like, he was at like 34%, got hit really hard, and then got locked at like 3%.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. I'm watching the replay on your replay to see what happened to him.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
A little bit slow, but let's see what happens. So he gets charged, Mortal Striked. Alright, Colossus Smash, Shadow Fury, execute proc into a big Mortal Strike. Yeah, he just got locked right at the end.
Oh my gosh. Actually, so much damage. Smexen and Snuts are a force to be reckoned with, man. Alright guys, we're going to be going into game number 3 of this best of 5 series. These guys just want to queue right up and get right back into the action. We're going to find out who is going to be the victor of this series. Tempo Storm down 2-0 has to win 3 games in a row to take down Method Orange. The winner of the series goes on to face Please Sponsor Us. Who's it going to be? Now, I mean, we've seen crazy comebacks in the past. We've seen Tempo Storm take series like completely by storm. They'll be down 2-0. They will 3-0. If there is a team that can 3-0, it's Tempo Storm. So it's not even close to being over yet. Yeah,
I think it's pretty close to being over.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's like this close, but there's a cliff on the other side now. It's like those action movies where the ground's falling beneath them.
Jamili's janitor duties have been revoked.
Oh, no more clean sweeps for Jamili. All right, here we go.
I think Sidu is the new janitor. Or at least Snuts looks to be the new janitor.
Here we go, guys. It's Tiger's Peak for potentially the last map of the series. Welcome to Tiger's Peak. It's Method Orange versus Tempo Storm. Game number 3. Method Orange up 2-0. Tempo Storm sticking with their composition. Rogue, Mage, Druid. Can Tempo Storm do it? Can they bring it back against Method Orange, or will the Warlock, Warrior, Shaman composition be victorious and move on to the semifinals? Here we go. The gates have opened.
Yeah, we've seen Tempo Storm as the team to make comebacks, so definitely not out of it just yet. We can see them charging forward in stealth. Who's going to be the opening target here in game number 3? Peekaboo saps up Snuts, so I would imagine they are going to be committing to Snuts this game as well. Jamili going into that invisibility. Tempo Storm playing very patiently, waiting for that capacitor totem. There's a cheap shot on the Smex and cheap shot on the Snuts. Stuns all around for everybody. Deep freeze over on a Sea-Doo. Master Fleck goes out to try and get the sheep. Sea-Doo's able to line it. They reflect the clone. Now they're building up some pressure here onto Peekaboo with full row of dots. Gets caught in that Shadow Fury stun. Now a swap over on the Starship with that full Stormbolt. He's actually choosing to Bark Skin to deal with that recklessness almost immediately. Shadow Dance out from Peekaboo, trying to build some pressure onto Snuts. Sea-Doo actually choosing to Trinket there to get out of that CC, keep Snuts at 100% HP, and now it looks like they're swapping to Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo's going to gate on the Garrote, just kiting away from Peekaboo. Now caught in the cheap shot, but he got out of line of sight of Jamili. Sea-Doo kiting amazing right now. Full fear onto Starship. He did get that Iron Bark up, though, preemptively onto Jamili. It's going to reduce a lot of damage. Sea-Doo's still in trouble. Pops the War Mastery, barely gets one heal off. Gets gouged on the follow-up heal. Jamili drops the Frozen Orb. Sea-Doo is forced to link. Snuts popping that second Dark Soul. They're going to clone up Sea-Doo. Who are they going to swap over to? I think it's going to be Snuts. They lock him on that Unstable Affliction. Jamili gets locked on Polly. He's forced into his first Ice Block. Full kidney shot onto Snuts. He's going to unbound Will out of that. He wants to really build some pressure right now for his team. He gets a Haunt off over onto Starship. Starship's going to dispel him off, realizing that he could be in trouble if Smexon chooses to Stormbolt him and just could chink him over there in the corner. Getting ready for that swap is very important for Starship.
Uh-oh. Smexon actually getting cloned up here. Now they're going back over onto Snuts. Frostjaw lands out on a Sea-Doo. Ice Nova onto Snuts. Snuts has got to be careful. Dark Regen's going to be treated up right away. Jamili getting charged done now. Hypothermia just falling off. He has that under ice block available to him if he gets that low. And Snuts is going to be the main kill target for Tempo Storm, but he's positioned himself with his healer in the far back, forcing Tempo Storm to have to extend to reach him. And it looks like he's not going to do that. Smexon's just in this team's face. He's like, if you guys want to come out and play, come out and play. I got the damage for you. There's the charge done over out onto Jamili. Starship not catching any CC just yet. Sea-Doo now the kill target though. Here's the setup. The kidney shot into the Garrote. Double Shadow Fury from Snuts is going to stop them, but is it going to be enough? The Garrote on Sea-Doo uses the Hellstone. The Rallying Cry coming out. The Spirit Link getting killed instantly, however. How is Sea-Doo alive? Rallying Cry falling down Shun. Death from above is going to connect as well. Evasion from Peekaboo. He cannot be peeled, but it doesn't matter. Smexon wants to take him down, bringing him to 30% healthier and forcing him out of the pillar. And Sea-Doo catching some free heals out of that. Jamili using a second block throughout all of that. Still on hypothermia as well. It's got to be careful. No Iron Bark or Nature Swiftness available for Jamili. If these two connect onto Jamili, surely he'll go down. Stormbolt onto Starship. Jamili pulling back. He gets locked out on Frost. Fear now out onto Starship. Jamili at 40%. Charge stun comes out onto him as well. Smexon trying to end the game. Can he take down Jamili? The Fear trinketed from Starship. He's getting the heals off as fast as he possibly can. He's in execute range, but the blind out onto Smexon, keeping Jamili alive. Now he's getting polymorphed on that Mass Spell Reflect, and he's gonna pull back and survive. How are you alive, Jamili? 1 minute remains until he gets his next Ice Block, and Method Orange are not going to overextend. Not yet, however.
Yeah, we can see Shadow Dance available for Peekaboo. He's got that Smoke Bomb as well. I think they want to prime up Smexon for a swap. Smexon has to be careful about that Smoke Bomb right now, and we can clearly see Method Orange are not going to be falling for that trap that Tempo Storm are trying to lay. Starship actually looking for a re-stealth, trying to go for a drink. Here potentially dispelling his dots, making sure he can sit in stealth. He's going to be able to get full mana, and I think Method Orange, this is unfortunately just going to be a forced error. They cannot afford to push in to stop it. He does trade up, get full mana moving into the later stages of the game. Full sap over onto Snuts. Who are they going to open on here? Looks like Sea-Doo has combat, though, so they're not able to get a sap. Charge over onto Peekaboo almost immediately as he came out of stealth. Full kidney shot over onto Smexon. Starship is going to be looking to try and get a clone. Doesn't look like he can get it, though. That means Smexon's open to stop the sheep. He gets the Master Flex out, and Smexon stops the CC with that counterspell onto it as well. Snuts trying to build up some pressure. Starship going to clone him up at low HP and deny any sort of pressure build up here. Polymorph over onto Smexon. Sea-Doo trying to get him out of that CC, trying to get some pressure built here. Snuts still appears to be the target for Tempo Storm at the moment. Charge over onto Starship. Smexon going to eat another Polymorph, just not able to build up any damage at the moment here. Immediately going on to Jamili after that. Jamili forced to blink back. Peekaboo in retreat as well. They didn't really get anything done for that Shadow Dance setup. I'd like to see Method Orange kind of push in right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Jamili does have that block available to him, so they're going to be pushing in, all three of them running this Orc. There's the cheap shot over out on the Specs, and he's got to be careful. He pops the Recklessness, the Fear on the Starship. Jamili on retreat, the Heroic Leap into the charge over out on Jamili, as well as a Stormbolt on to Starship. Jamili might be in a little bit of trouble here. Ironbark being caught, as well as the Nature Swift is going to top him right off, and Smexon got the buttons he wanted. He's just going to pull back for now. But there you have it. We're dipping deeper into dampening, 1% dampening. If Method Orange can continue this damage, it's going to be very difficult for Temple Storm to survive through it. Charge that now on Jamili. Jamili dipping down to 70% health here on the first global. Smexon now the kill target for Temple Storm. Huge damage on him. Double Ice Nova. He's got to be careful. Die by the Sword is going to be used, as well as the regen from Smexon. Just going to trade it up and stay aggressive. Sea-Doo in these guys' face now at this point, using that Ascendance. Snuts and Smexon and Sea-Doo as a team are pushing forward to try to end this game. Jamili has that one ice block still available to him to rotate through that, and they seem to be rotating to different positions over and over and over again. And I actually like the playstyle coming up from Temple Storm. They have been shutting down Smexon more and more as the game goes on. They feel like Smexon is the main damage dealer, it would seem, but at the same time, the spread pressure of Snuts is crazy.
Sea-Doo is almost out of mana, and it would be terrible for him to end up losing this game because he actually runs out of mana. This game looks like it could go that long, so maybe Sea-Doo wants to look for a drink here. Potentially. Snuts and Smexon playing goalie at the moment here. Snuts actually picking up the eye to try and pull Peekaboo out of stealth. We see the kidney shot actually got blade stormed by Smexon, so he's going to immune that kidney shot. If he knows that he's immuned it, maybe they're going to go on offense here. Peekaboo forced to pop the Shadow Dance now instead. Stuns for everybody. Full clone onto Smexon. Snuts locks the sheep though. Jamili goes for the Frostjaw. He gets the Frostjaw onto Sea-Doo. They could still get some pressure. Full fear onto Starship though. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo's going to trick it out of that right away. Not able to get too much done with that fear, however. Snuts getting locked out on that haunt, I believe, by Peekaboo. Now trying to go for that Soulburn haunt again, trying to build up some dots. Starship and Jamili pulling back here, trying to retreat, trying to find their target. They did get Sea-Doo's trinket, so now Sea-Doo is a vulnerable target. He has to be careful if they want to swap to him.
Yeah, they really do. He has that link available to him, but here's the deep freeze. No out. There's a stun on the Smexon. The stun goes over out on a Snuts. Snuts is all alone. No healer available to him. He's going to use that regen, catch the death from above as from Peekaboo as well. Jamili pushing in with that trinket, and that's going to force a link from Sea-Doo. It looks like Smexon's really trying to push Jamili out from this back line. He's going to catch that Ironbark and pull back as well for the Nature Swiftness and Ironbark from Starship at 14% damping. I think this is a nice move, but Sea-Doo in trouble. He's getting killed by Peekaboo. The bomb coming out. The Ice Novas connect. The Triple DR stun. He goes into it and he gets the Spirit Link out just in the nick of time, saving his life. Now Starship pushing up and getting punished by Smexon, forced to go in that bear form, and the Bark Skin going to be used. He's going to pull back from now, but Sea-Doo surviving through the onslaught that was Temple Storm's last setup. Jamili in trouble, 37% health here. He gets Shadow Furied up. He's going to blink out of it. This is the Demon Soul from Snuts. He's going to get Unbound Will out of that full kidney shot. Haunt's connecting onto him. Stormbolt out onto Starship. Smexon desperately trying to reconnect with this recklessness. He's killing his pet. Charge Stun now connects, and that's another Ice Ball coming out from Jamili. He has one more remaining as this game is just going out longer and longer.
Yeah, and again, Sea-Doo has no trinket, so if Temple Storm want to make something happen, they have to make it happen with the next Shadow Dance. I believe potentially in a Sea-Doo, they could go for Snuts as well. Smexon needs to be the one playing aggro right now, as he is the only player with his trinket. He needs to be the most forward. He is right now. Bash on a Smexon, but it was quarter DR, and Smexon's able to stop the clone with the fear. He should be able to get back to save his team. He leaps back, charges Jamili. He interrupts the sheep. Well done. That quarter bash from Starship ended up being a big misplay. Now getting locked on his Cyclone into the full Stormbolt. Jamili in trouble at the moment. DFA on the Snuts gate, though. Peekaboo going to connect immediately back onto him. Sea-Doo forced to pop the Ore Master to heal through it. Snuts and Jamili both under fire. Snuts getting locked on his fear. Ironbark forced on the Starship. Sea-Doo trinketing out immediately onto that blind, not playing greedy whatsoever. Charge over onto Peekaboo, trying to build some pressure. Full kidney shot on the Sea-Doo. How is Snuts going to make it out alive? Master Fleck comes out to stop the clone. They manage to get it off. Starship doesn't get the clone. They get the Frostjaw instead. I don't know how Snuts is going to make it out alive here. He gets locked on the fear, and the full sheep connects. But they break the sheep! How is Snuts going to be able to hang in a full clone on this Sea-Doo? Now that's 17%. My voice cannot handle Snuts surviving right now.
Kidney shot now. Sea-Doo not in any more CC. He's at 30% health here. Ice Nova is being used and everything. Temple Storm giving it their all to end Snuts right here, right now. But he is not going down without a fight. The port back to his Shaman. He's getting back on him. Jamili getting punished. He's being pushed back. He's got to be careful. He's just spamming the polymorphs onto Smexon over and over and over again. The damage is just unbelievable. Stormbolt onto Starship's going to force Jamili into that block. And Peekaboo's dance is going to fade. And Method Orange survives another setup. 27% 30% dampening. Can Tempo Storm make it happen, or is this going to be the end of the line as Method Orange says no? And now this is the Demon Soul coming out from Snuts. It's going to be going down in just a few short seconds, but at 30% dampening, Starship's going to have a hell of a time healing through all of this. Every time Smexon looks at Peekaboo, he just presses that evasion. There's no messing about with that. Jamili actually playing very far back without a single ice block for 50 more seconds, and I really like that play. Now the charge stun into the Shadow Fury onto Peekaboo, who's going to force a trinket. You know that you have serious damage when trinkets are being forced in Shadow Furies.
Yeah, Peekaboo running away, but he did put Smexon on stun DR. Snuts has his trinket and the Dark Regeneration. Seedoo's going to have his trinket up in about 26 seconds. Method Orange are looking fairly good right now. They just need to deal with this Shadow Dance effectively from Peekaboo. If they can peel this Shadow Dance and survive, I think they've got this game in the bag. But like I was saying earlier, Seedoo's almost out of mana. And I said, like, if he loses because he runs out of mana, that would just be terrible. We see Recklessness Blade Storm out from Smexon, though he's trying to burst down Jamili. He's down at 48% HP. Smexon reconnecting, forcing the Iron Bark, and that's out from Starship. But the NS barely does anything. He's got no block for 15 more seconds. Here comes the Shadow Dance. If they don't get a kill with this Shadow Dance, surely they're going to fall. Seedoo is the primary target, getting caught in the stun lock. Master Flight comes out, trying to stop some incoming damage here. Seedoo's still in trouble. He's got one more link remaining. He's going to gate away. Jamili with no block for one more second, and Method Orange pull it off and take the 3-0 Janitor sweep against Tempo Storm and advance to face off against Please Sponsor Us.
One more second remained for Jamili's ice block, and Seedoo has nearly no mana left at 40% dampening. That was an unbelievably close game. Method Orange taking the series 3-0 against their rivals Tempo Storm and earning their way in the semifinals of GCD Pro League tournament number 4. There's so much hype on the line for this next series. Method Orange playing all day long, and there's 1 to 2 more series for them to have to compete in. Can they keep up this energy? Can they keep up this stamina to take on... Oop, just kidding. To take on Please Sponsor Us versus Method Orange, and that's in the semifinals of the tournament. Let's take a